it's the Law Gnome, and welcome to the March 2017 Throwback Day. Just in case you are new here, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. This is a segment that I've had on this channel for quite some time, and it's basically where I take some time to review a well-known classic film, or even a cult classic film that is extremely popular, because I know that I really cannot be the great movie fan and reviewer that I am if I haven't seen some of the greatest films of all time. And with March Madness pretty much heating up at this point in time, it was only appropriate that I went and finally saw the 1986 classic to some people, Hoosiers, starring Gene Hackman and Dennis Hopper. Now, I am a big fan of sports films, and this one just looked like your typical underdog story of kids just doing what they can do in terms of teamwork with a unruly coach and being led to greatness. And this is a story that takes place in the early 1950s in a little school in Indiana. And basically, Gene Hackman plays a character who comes to coach this ball club, and this is a guy who has a bit of a checkered past. The community doesn't really know what he's all about, but he says that he is determined to take these boys in this high school, revolutionize their game, and give them the chance to go all the way to a championship. So this is a movie that I know I should have seen such a long time ago, as I love all these kinds of movies, like Miracle, Remember the Titans, A League of Their Own, even The Sandlot, Rocky, all of these great sports films. This was very underwhelming. I hate to say it. This was not what I anticipated it to be. I thought that the acting was very bland, and that was a shock to me considering the fact that we have great actors like Gene Hackman and Dennis Hopper, along with Barbara Hershey, but I found them very flat. I didn't connect with them. I didn't find them relatable. Granted, there's that one scene in the movie where the coach is in the locker room and he makes this speech, and then the kids start doing this slow clap, which turns into a monstrous applause that you see in so many sporting events that you go to live, but I really did not enjoy this movie. Another thing that I found that was a really weak thing was the fact that the kids on this team were just non-existent. I mean, when you take a look at some of these kinds of movies that play upon these themes, you get to know some of the kids. You see them work with each other, work with the coach, have that real family element. And there was really nothing there with these kids. And if they did have a speaking role, it was so poorly acted, it was so bland. I just was so upset while I was watching this movie because I wanted this to be another Remember the Titans or another Miracle. And this was not it at all. Now, I will say that the championship game was definitely exciting to watch, and it did have some very tense moments, but at the same time, it really was so underwhelming up until this point. It was very hard for this last game to be a salvaging factor, as well as the fact that this movie takes place in the early 1950s. It really didn't feel like the 1950s, and maybe that could have been the greatest blessing or the greatest curse of this film, which is an amazing soundtrack by Goldsmith. I love the main theme of Hoosiers. Even before I saw this movie, I thought that the theme was fantastic. But it's got that 80s synthesizer sound, and it makes you feel that this movie may in fact take place in the 1980s, even though it does take place in the 1950s. So, all in all, I was very underwhelmed. It's not a terrible movie. I'm really sure that there are huge fans of Hoosiers out there, but I, for one, am going to say that I am not going to be one of them. I don't intend to watch this movie again, nor do I intend to add it to my DVD collection, even though I was really anticipating that I would. I'm giving Hoosiers 2 out of 4 stars, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Please put your comments in the box below, and let's discuss Hoosiers. I would really like to have a good, rational debate with people, because there must be something I've missed if this is known as one of the greatest classic sports films of all time. But until then, that's all that I've got to say. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.